What is up, everybody? I finally got my first build ready for the YouTubes. I'm sorry it hasn't came sooner. I didn't really want to put some half-ass shitty build out there for you guys to follow. And here is my half-ass shitty build. I'm just kidding. It's pretty okay. It's still got a lot, and I'm talking a lot of room for improvement. But after testing it yesterday in the dark zone and just absolutely dominating with it, as well as it being very comfortable for PVE content, I think this is a great all-around build. So let me share it with you. It's a 4-piece Negotiators dilemma set with some supplemental damage. I use this with the classic M1A rifle. This is my favorite rifle in the game. And Boomerang is the talent that you want to look for. The Urban MDR is really good as well. It's got higher headshot damage, 30 higher headshot damage, but the problem is its bullets are weak and you run out of ammo pretty fast with it. Another decent one is the M16. I'm not even kidding, guys. The M16. It's burst fire, but it does more DPS than the classic M1A. And with Boomerang, it's actually pretty badass. But I just don't really like the way it fires. And after testing between them, classic M1A is where it's at for this build. I'd like to get a sniper rifle. I don't have it on the build right now, but you can ignore this MDR, and you can put a sniper rifle here because of the way it synergizes, preferably a Nemesis or something like that. So the way the 4-piece Negotiators works is you get, 2-piece, 15 crit chance. That's awesome. This is a crit-based build. 3-piece, 20 crit damage. That is awesome. Those are some really, really good sets. And then 4-piece, it's really interesting. It works good for PVE especially, and PvP, I found out yesterday. Critical hits mark enemies for 20 seconds, up to 3 marks total. So to mark them, all you got to do is crit them once. Then they stay marked for 20 seconds. It unfortunately does not refresh, so you can't remark them until they, expire their 20 seconds. When you critically hit a marked enemy, all other marked enemies take 60% of the damage dealt. This backpack, however, makes it so that they take 100% of the damage dealt. So if I mark, say, in PvE, the group of enemies, let's just say 3 of them, the chest will actually make it be 5, but I don't wear the chest currently. Mark 3 enemies, and then you sit there and crit the most, easiest one to hit. They will all take 100% of the damage you do to that target every time you crit. It's amazing. It adds so much extra damage, and I love it, especially if they, come out in a wave and you crit them all and then they go and hide. All you got to have is one that's available to damage, and they're all going to be taking damage, which translates in PvP as well. Say you're not using a rifle, or you are, and you crit the enemy, but they don't die, and they go and hide or go to medkit. If you have some shots on their teammates, you might kill them while they're behind cover medkitting. It's really awesome how it does this. Whenever a marked enemy dies, you also gain 2 crit damage, stacking up to 20 times or until combat ends, so up to 40 crit damage. That's not as noticeable. In PvE it is. It's pretty cool, but it's not too crazy. But definitely a nice little stat. For stats, I rolled this one to armor. Honestly, I'm still experimenting with armor and weapon damage and things like that, and what feels to be the best. I've originally planned on this build being all blues eventually, when I have all of the stats proper everywhere else. It's going to be hard because Negotiators doesn't roll a blue core. And by all blues, I don't mean the attributes. I'm talking about the core attribute being armor. I'll show you why, because of my chest with Vanguard, but it's hard because these do not roll red cores. So they have to roll the perfect attributes, and you need to have max crit chance with this. So it could be different. I'm thinking maybe a 3 blue, 3 red is going to be pretty well balanced. Yesterday in PvP, even just these 2 blues was pretty good. I wasn't feeling too squishy, mostly because of my shield, but I'm pretty sure I could add another blue, increase the toughness and my shield a little bit more, and still have more damage output once I get my stats a little bit better elsewhere. I'm also going to be working on just an all blue core. So, max armor in every slot and see how that works. I think that's going to work really good with the M1A as well, because you'll be able to still have max crit chance, huge crit damage, and still be able to just dominate while having a ton of armor. One of the reasons you want a ton of armor is with this build, I'm running Vanguard as the chest talent. Deploying a shield makes it invulnerable for 5 seconds, and it grants 45% of your armor as bonus armor to other allies for 20 seconds. It's got a 25-second cooldown. It's really good. In PvP, I believe it's only 20%, not 45%. But regardless, it's a ton, and the more armor you have, the more you're going to share with them. So some of my teammates, they only have like 600k armor. They're running all reds. And, you know, when I do this, they're in PvE, they're doubling their armor pool. It's really nice. And if I had 6 blues, it would be absolutely nuts how much armor they'd be getting. They'd be getting almost 1 million armor. Like, I think they'd get 800,000, something crazy like that. I'm running the fire subclass. I'll go over how to spec into it at the end of this. But I really like the shield that they have. I found out, I didn't know this originally, the shield does not scale with yellows. All the other skills seem to scale with yellows. This actually scales with how many blue cores you have. So mine's tier 2 since I have 2 blue cores. So we're getting, you know, a decent amount of shield health and regeneration, the active regeneration. In PvE, I'm noticing the NPCs rarely break my shield. It's pretty awesome. I can't even imagine what it would be like if I was tier 6 with 60%, which I only have 20% regen now. That'd be absolutely nuts. And the health of the shield would be from 66% now up to 250%, which is really crazy. I can't wait to test this out with a tier 6 blue build. But time's going to progress. I'm not going to wait to make the YouTube video until then, and things could change. I think gradually for PvP, for PvP situations, I think people are going to spec more and more into blues while being able to still deal good damage with their guns. Because time to kill is really fast now. People are crying that it's too fast. I think it feels good. You got to play smart. And people are saying, oh, it doesn't matter if you have more armor or anything, you're still going to die. No, having more armor makes a big difference. And especially if you're completely capped out on armor, it makes a really big difference. I shot my friend who's got True Patriots everywhere with max armor, and it takes a lot more bullets to kill them. Like a lot more. I'm 2-tapping most of the people with this M1A. All right, so as far as the talent goes, Vanguard, obviously. The chest piece currently, I'm using the Seska because it gives a 10 crit chance. 10 crit chance is really good for a one-piece bonus. The downside is this set comes with a blue mod slot. So that right there removes a nice chunk of crit damage or crit chance that you could put in a red mod slot. You can, however, re-roll these mod slots to different colors, but that's not really what I want to do. I rolled Vanguard onto this because right now this chest is giving me about 15 crit chance, and it's got some decent weapon damage. It's not very good. This is a really, really shitty chest, unfortunately. I've got some other options. What I've been crafting and trying to find is actually Providence Defense. Providence Defense rolls with a red mod slot. Like, this is a pretty sweet one. The problem is right now I don't have enough crit chance. This would give me 10 headshot damage. Then you could roll crit chance here or have it roll it, preferably. You'd have the red mod slot, and then the talent would be Vanguard. I still haven't got a Providence chest with Vanguard, but I'm looking. Another option is Sokolov. They run red mod slots, but it's SMG damage, so it's basically a waste. I was originally running a Sokolov because it was my best chest I had. I had one with, a crit chance roll on it and a mod slot, so I was getting, over 10 crit chance right there. And the weapon damage was pretty high. And I actually haven't rolled this chest. This chest could be made better. I could roll this health to crit damage. I was thinking about doing that. This wouldn't be a bad chest, even though it's SMG damage. But I'm leaving it because it's such a decent chest until I decide how I want to go with it. Another option is Grupo. Grupo's pretty sweet because one piece bonus gives you 15 crit damage. And that's a lot. This already has 9 crit damage on it. You can get quite a bit more. So you can have a ton of crit damage with a Grupo chest. The downside is that it's a yellow mod slot. And that does not really help this build much at all. So a God Roll Grupo would, be that just the 1-piece bonus, then huge weapon damage, huge crit chance while rolling Vanguard, and then roll the mod slot to red. I would like to find one of those one day, but that is going to be hard. Everyone thought this gear was super dumbed down, which it is, but it's still going to be extremely hard to get exactly what we want when we're trying to min-max our builds. The first day or two of playing this, I was pretty disappointed, but as I've understood more and more about the gear, I've realized how difficult it will actually be to get the perfect stats where we want them. So chest is kind of like the hardest part of this build. It's going to be very difficult to get. Knee pads, I think best in slot for a rifle build is Overlord. Because of the Fox's Prayer, they roll 15% damage to out-of-covered targets. Like, that's really good. Plus 10% rifle damage. You're doing 25% damage to almost any enemy, especially in PvP, just from that alone. And then the weapon damage that it would roll, this could be, 15 or whatever the max is. So that's just insane right there. That's 40% damage output if this was maxed. Unfortunately, mine rolled a really crappy stat, and I needed crit chance, so I rolled it to crit chance. Eventually, I would like this to be, one of my reds or blues if I'm doing an all blue, and then this crit chance being higher. But really good slot right there. If you're not running rifles with this build, which you don't have to, you would obviously want to change that out, or even just wear Negotiator knee pads and change out something else. As far as all the other pieces, I'm not really showing them off so much because they don't do anything special. What you want to look for is getting 60 crit chance. So on this mask, preferably, like this has a mod slot. It's not showing that it does, even though it does. I have crit chance put in this mod slot, but you'd want either, headshot or crit damage or crit chance on these. I'm really going for crit chance so that I can drop the Grupo. I don't plan on wearing Grupo. So all these pieces need more crit chance. With rifles, for me, I don't focus headshot damage. I focus crit chance and crit damage. Headshot damage is kind of a benefit once in a while. But for this particular build, I only aim for the head if it's super convenient. Otherwise, I'm trying to spam body shots. And you can see in the clip that's included in this video, it's in the description of some PvP gameplay, my body shot crits are like 400,000. It's crazy to players. So I'm two-tapping the majority of players right now with this build in the body. As far as everything else goes, yeah, gloves, same thing. Like right now, mine are crit damage and weapon damage. These are pretty decent gloves. But eventually, honestly, I think crit weapon damage and crit damage would be best on the gloves like this, and just making up the crit chance elsewhere, because you can get quite a bit more crit damage than crit chance. And as long as you've got the crit chance, crit damage is going to be a better option. Keep in mind your shade level. Once you reach 50 right here, you will have a bonus of 10 crit chance. I only have 2.4 right now, but build your build planning that's going to have 10. So if you're a little bit short on crit chance, don't stress. Don't ruin a piece of gear to give you crit chance temporarily. You know what I mean? You can run the gear with a little bit lower crit chance for the time being, or supplement with Seska, whatever you want to do. I prefer this Firecrest shield. I think it's awesome. The way this shield works is, or not Firecrest, whatever it's called, Firestarter. You can use any gun except LMGs and sniper rifles, and it buffs people that are behind the shield. If you ever use it, you won't see it yourself, but your teammates will see a little cone behind you, and anyone who's behind it gets buffed, as well as any enemies that are in front of it within the range. It's unfortunately not a very far range, but in PvP, I was definitely noticing combat, even with the rifle, up close. So currently it's giving, 11% bonus damage, which is really, really awesome per enemy. So if there's multiple enemies in front of the shield, you're going to be doing a lot of extra damage. It's great. And I really, really, really enjoy it. Let's go head to the specialization just to show you how to spec it real quick. And then I'll demonstrate in the shooting range just kind of how this build works. Unfortunately, the shooting range is a little bit bugged, but with negotiators. So I don't have this fully spec'd. I do have some extra points now, so I can at least do that. But most important, you want to, you know, level up your rifle damage for your gun. Rifle damage is really important. Actually, I take that back. Most important, this is my favorite thing, is your armor kit. Armor kit recovers 200% armor and 200% health over 10 seconds. When I do a full blue build with this kit is absolutely insane. Say we have, I don't know, I think it's like around 1.8 million you could get with full blues, but we'll just do basic math. I have 1 million right now. When I use this, I'm getting 2 million armor and double my health over 10 seconds, which means I'm getting 200,000 armor per second for 10 seconds. And that's really, really good. So if you take some damage in PvP or PvE and, you know, use your med kit, you can now sustain a lot of incoming damage for the next 10 seconds. I think it's the best kit in the game, and I've fallen in love with it ever since it came out. Unfortunately, I don't think a lot of the other stuff in this skill tree is very good, but the cluster grenades are awesome. These are really, really awesome. Health on kill, not that important. So when you're speccing into this, you could just put 1 point in this burn duration and then get your armor kit. You don't need health on kill, but it's whatever. If you get it, you can. Obviously, you want to spec into the shield once you start using it. It's a decent shield. I really like the shield as far as the shields go. In PvP, or basically in PvP and PvE, allies deal 10% damage to enemies that are within 10 meters of you. So if you're close up, your teammates are going to be doing more damage to the things. Also, when your armor breaks, you apply burn to enemies within 5 meters. It's not very useful. You know, you got your pulse resistance, 30% bonus armor during cover-to-cover moves, also not really important. And I think the flamethrower itself sucks really bad. So spec to whatever guns you want to use. Make sure you get the cluster grenades. Make sure you get this, what's it called? Med kit, your shield, and obviously the pulse resistance and this damage here is what you want to prioritize. The build could also work with gunner, but I think the fire one is just way, way better. Now let me demonstrate how this Negotiators even works with sharing the damage. So we crit him, he's now marked. So now we crit him, he's marked. But when I crit again, it will damage that guy. As you can see, the shooting range is bugged though. So yeah, let's make this a little bit more difficult. They're dying too fast. You can't mark all the targets and see the damage in the shooting range. So a lot of people might think that Negotiators is bugged if they're testing it here. It's not. In real world situations, it's damaging all the targets. Like there, it didn't show the damage on him, but it's doing it. There it did. It actually did more damage. I saw 1.2 million. For some reason, it's saying a higher number. It's not supposed to do that, but it is. So as you can see, they're all taking damage, which is pretty cool. But now it's bugged out and the wrong target's taking damage, but there it goes. It's amazing. So what you can do in the very beginning, say a squad of enemies comes out, you could, for example, use like an automatic weapon. And, whoa, I've got a bunch of junk in my inventory. Well, you could use an automatic weapon or whatever, LMG, assault rifle, and crit everything. And if you're wearing the chest in PvE, that can work too, especially if you're solo. A chest, the Negotiator's chest would be great. You mark them all, and then you just got to focus on one target. And they're all just going to take a ton of damage. Potentially die. You know, that one died over there without me even having to shoot it. Which is really awesome. And it can synergize really well because you can change weapons. If I had a Nemesis, which I don't have yet, it would be crazy amounts of damage. Here, let's just spec this for crit chance real quick. And then demonstrate what can happen. So let's mark a target here. And then use a sniper rifle to deal the damage. That is not a sniper rifle. Where'd my long stick go? There we go. So it should have showed the number, but it didn't. There we go. But the damage will spread. So here, let's crit him. Come on, give me the crit. Give me the crit. Ruining my video. Okay, so now he is crit. Unfortunately, nothing wants to crit for me at the right time. Well, I'm sorry I can't really demonstrate this better right now. Unfortunately, I'm not getting lucky with my crits when I should be. Here, let's do it like this. And when I do, it's not showing the number. Shooting range is definitely bugged with this set. It works in the real world situations all the time. Like, the numbers actually show up, the enemies take the damage, and it's really great. And it can synergize extremely well with PVE, like pulling the sniper rifle out. One of the things I want to do in PvP is mark a bunch of enemies and then snipe one of them and kill everybody. That would be awesome. That's one of my goals there. But I think I covered everything as far as how to spec my gun. I have it just spec'd all crit chance right now. The mod has... my game is lagging out. There we go. I put crit chance on the scope, crit chance on the underbarrel, extended mag. So 2 things of crit chance. I also rolled crit chance on the gun itself. Rifle damage, crit damage, and then rolled crit chance. I think that's going to be top tier for this gun. I need to get more. So as time progresses, I'll have more crit chance here. I'll have more crit chance on my pieces of gear. I'll have more on my shade watch. I won't need to wear the Seska. It'll be a lot easier to do. And it's going to progress. We'll see how it goes with different variations of how many blues to how many reds works. I can't wait to try a 6 blue version. And I think I covered everything. As far as your other skill goes, it doesn't really matter. I use the Reviver Hive just so that if I do die, I have that chance of getting saved. But you can use whatever. I just find this to be pretty useful. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to check out other videos that I'll be posting up soon. I don't really have any right now, but they will be coming out now that I've started to collect gear. You can check me out live, Twitch TV/Inigo Montoya. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube. And if you're interested in seeing this build in action, PvP, I've got a clip in the description showing my first real engagement with the build, and it works great. The fact that you can just pop this shield and have it immune for 5 seconds is amazing. And, oh, I wanted to show something else. Actually, when you pop the shield out, it gives your teammates the buff for 20 seconds, but you don't need to keep the shield. So you can just pop the shield out and let it go, and you'll see the little debuff, like cooldown thing in the bottom. When that fills up, you can do it again and spread the armor to your teammates. So it's really important, even if you're not using this shield, to do that when you're running with teammates so that they get all that armor. There's only going to be 5 seconds that they have of downtime. It's amazing. They'll only have 5 seconds of downtime with that shield, giving them the extra bonus armor. So keep that in mind. But thank you guys for watching. I'm sorry I rambled on. I'm a little bit rusty at build videos, so I'm all over the place. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and they will get better as time goes on. I'm actually really enjoying this new update. I know it's a buggy mess, and a lot of it's dumbed down, and it's drastically changed, but I am enjoying it. So come check out the stream. I'll see you around, guys.